Hey guys, today we're going to do a get to know me video. It's been a long time coming, but I finally found some time to sit down and answer some of your questions. I threw a post out everywhere to ask you guys to give me some questions, and you guys really hit me with a bunch, so I'm going to do my best to answer as many as I can. Question number 1, when did I start pottery? I started pottery my sophomore year. My friend Jake brought me to a ceramics club meeting before cross-country practice, and I fell in love with it instantly. It was like the first time I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. And from then on, I did the club all year, and then my senior year, you were allowed to take the course, and I got in, and from then on, it's been ceramics all the time. Another question is, how did I learn pottery? I had a ceramics teacher in high school, and he gave me a lot of good techniques and skill building, but after that I basically taught myself everything, reading stuff, watching videos, and honestly just experimenting. I think that's the best way for you to figure anything out, so I just hit the ground running and started making whatever I could. Do I surf as much as I do pottery? No, I probably do pottery more than I surf because surfing is about like 2 to 3 hours for me, but when I'm in the studio, I'll be in the studio for 4, 6, 8 hours at a time, so probably pottery more than surfing, but I do surf a good amount. What is my favorite food? I think my favorite food has to go to pasta. Honestly, anything Italian. I love all Italian food, but pasta, specifically rigatoni with a really good red sauce, so good. Do I work from home? No. I have my own pottery studio, luckily. It's a very small room. My last video was showing kind of everything I got going on around here. So yeah, I have my own studio, luckily. A lot of people want to know what city I'm in. I am in San Diego, Southern California, and I love it here. My favorite color is like an ocean blue, more on the tropical side. I love the turquoise-ish, light blue, almost greenish combination that comes out in the ocean. To make it simple, blue. What else do I do from aside ceramics? Well, I surf, hang out with some friends, work. I've been trying to learn French for a while on Duolingo, so I don't know how much that really helps me because I'm not actually in a French class. And whatever random hobbies or interests I get into. Why pottery? For me, I love making pottery over any other medium. I've tried a lot of other mediums. I've done painting, I've done watercolors, I've tried pen and pencil, charcoal, metalwork, very little metalwork, and a bunch of other mediums, but I think pottery is number one because I love making a physical item, if that makes sense. I like to make a piece that takes up space, and I love the physicality of the piece and how you can hold it and it's not as precious as paint, and how it almost becomes kind of an artifact. I love how in many years down the line it will still be here if it's not broken. I love the permanence of these ceramic pieces and how they can realistically last for as long as they aren't broken. And the feeling you get when you make a really nice pole is unbeatable. I mean, come on, if you've done ceramics, you know how good it feels to get one of those poles all the way up. I mean, come on. The biggest piece I ever made, I made some vases that were 22 or 24 inches tall with this reflective glaze on it for these interior designers out in New York. It was really cool. It was a really fun thing to do. But yeah, 22 to 24 inches tall for those. What are my favorite ceramic tools? I have an absurd amount of tools. I just keep buying tools. I don't need these tools. I use basically a sponge and a metal rib. But I think my favorite tool that I have has to go to, oh, I know. My favorite tool is this all-in-one trimming tool. Oh my gosh, I didn't have one of these for the longest time, and then I went to the clay store and one of the workers there was telling me how they love theirs, and I thought I'd give it a try, and it is so useful. Oh my gosh, and it's strong. It's made by Mud Tools. Pretty nice. A bunch of people are asking about what products I use on my hands or if the pottery really messes up my hands or my skin. but I honestly don't struggle with having dry hands from ceramics. I know a lot of people when they use clay, they tend to get really dry hands and they need to moisturize a lot, but I guess I'm lucky and my hands are pretty good right now. But I do have some pain in my hands after throwing for a long time or trying to center large amounts of clay, but I normally just try to roll them out. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I roll them out or I kind of do some hand stretching. Do I have any cats or dogs? I have a dog. She is so awesome. Her name's Daisy. She's a rescue and she's great. Super funny, super playful, protective, but in a good way. Why don't I trust a matte finish? I get a lot of people, actually I don't get that many people. There's a select bunch of people who want me to make matte vases, and I'm sure eventually I will, but I don't do matte finishes because I really think the gloss that I put on these, this clear gloss glaze, really makes these colors pop, and I just like the reflective surface of them. So nothing against matte, I just don't think it's what I want to do right now. What other creative endeavors do I have? Well, I have these videos. It's fun editing these. Sometimes it's stressful, but that's a creative thing I do. Sometimes I'll do painting, not too often, mainly ceramics, but I think I might start sanding some furniture, maybe trying to restore some stuff, but this table I've had right there, I bought probably 3-4 months ago with the idea of sanding it and refinishing it, but I never got to that. So I think mainly ceramics in these videos are what I have my creative time for. But I'd love to get into some painting. I tried to teach myself oil painting a long time ago, but I'd rather do ceramics with my time. What is my favorite vase I've ever thrown? I think it goes to this vase right here. I made this in 2023 and I just got this glaze and I was trying out this method of shaping it while throwing and such, and I love the way this one turned out, but no one's picked it up, but that's all right. That means I get to look at it for a little bit longer. So cool. Also, an honorable mention is this vase right here. This is kind of the vase that started the snowballing of my Sunrise Ceramics page, and I have a lot of sentiment with it, and I don't think I could sell it. So actually, I think this is my favorite vase. What inspires my work? I have a few other artists that I look into for throwing, and the main person I draw inspiration from is Eric Landon, or known as Tortoise. His throwing is so clean and so big and so efficient. Sometimes I rabbit hole his videos just so I can see some really good throwing and feel inspired to try and go bigger or try to make some different shapes. But for the marbling and the colors, I don't really have an inspiration that I know of. I'm sure subconsciously there might be things that I'm drawing from other artists, but I'd say Tortoise for my main inspiration. If I didn't make pottery, what else would I do? Honestly, I haven't put much thought into it. I left university in pursuit of ceramics. It was kind of an all or nothing jump, and I've been lucky so far. So I don't know. What does a beginner need to start pottery? I think the best way for people to get into ceramics or pottery is to find a class or local studio if you can. I know some people in the areas they don't have local studios. If you can, I'd really recommend going to a class if you can, because the startup costs for ceramics are rather expensive. Wheels are pretty costly, as well as a kiln. But you can always sign up for some subscription services that send you clay and little sculpting kits so you can get a feel for the clay in your hands. I think it's called Sculpt or Sculpted. I've never used it, but I've seen it on a lot of people's stories and posts. So maybe a little subscription box of clay so you can get some clay in your hands and feel what it's like. But I'd highly recommend going to a class if you can. Are your parents supportive of your ceramics? Yeah, they are. They helped me set up for my first market, my second market, waking up at 5 a.m. to do those things. They always keep up with my posts and they tell me if they like my videos, or they always give me some insight on what they think I should try. But yeah, they are very supportive of what I do. What is your favorite movie? I think my favorite movie is... I don't know what my favorite movie is. I used to have a favorite. It used to be Good Will Hunting, but I recently watched another movie and I can't remember the name of it, but I know it's not Good Will Hunting anymore. What is my go-to food? My favorite food's pasta. So probably pasta or pizza or basically any Italian food. Is this your full-time job? It is not. I love doing my ceramics and I try to make as much time as I can for me to be in the studio making stuff, but I do have another job, and yeah. What is my educational background in ceramics? So I took ceramics fully my senior year of high school. I started at my junior year of high school, but I wasn't taught by a teacher until my senior year. I then left for university, and I was pursuing running, believe it or not. And after my first year at college, I was an international business student and I hated it. I thought I was gonna be a business guy, but that's not me. I was sitting in my business classes just ripping my hair out. And I called up my mom crying, and I was like going through a crisis, and both my parents are really supportive of me swapping my major to studio art. And then I took 1 year of studio art and I got my hands on a lot of different mediums, and I got some experiences with critiques, but I left after my second year of university to pursue ceramics on my own. And yeah, from there I just made ceramics, filmed it, posted it online, and yeah, now I'm here. So I'd say I got my base. I got a lot of basic knowledge from my high school teacher, but after that, it's a lot of self-taught experimentation and reading and videos. What do you do for fun? I like to do ceramics, of course. I like to surf, I like to hang out with friends, and actually, I thrift a lot. A lot of my clothes, just like this shirt, are thrifted finds, and most of my wardrobe that you see in all these videos are normally thrifted because it's super fun and the money normally goes to what I think are good causes. But yeah, how to keep going and getting better with ceramics. I think honestly it's just time on the wheel and time with clay in your hands. You just got to get comfortable with the clay to be confident with it, and to be on the wheel, it gives you more time to experiment with ideas, and fail or success, you're going to learn something with the clay and you'll become more comfortable with it, and ultimately I think that makes you better. Where am I from? I am from San Diego. Why do I inlay clay rather than just marbling the whole thing together? Honestly, for me it was a cost thing and a misinterpretation on a guide to marbling. I didn't realize that most people marble big chunks of clay, throw them together, cut them in half, and throw them on top of each other again and again, wedging them and such. I was mid-throwing and thought in my head that the right way to do it was to cut out these patterns and then fill them in. But that wasn't what everyone was doing. And it worked. And other people have been trying it and they've been having success with it too. And it's nice that it's not as expensive as marbling a whole piece of clay to get some really cool results. The stains are pretty expensive, on top of clay getting more expensive every day. So it's a nice way to have a nice piece and not have to spend too much making it. Where have you traveled to? I love traveling. I recently started doing it. I think my favorite place I've been is France. I really loved Paris, just because all the art and the history, but I loved Nice in France as well as Portofino in Italy. But I've been to France, Barcelona, a little bit of Italy, a bunch of states in the US, and I can't wait to go to more places. Where did the name Sunrise Ceramics come from? I was starting out in ceramics on my own, and I really wanted to use a name for my ceramics, but I didn't want to use just my name. I thought that was kind of overdone. Nothing wrong with people who do it, but I just didn't want to do that. and I was standing in line for a chairlift. I was snowboarding in Big Bear, and it just randomly came up in my head, and I was like, Sunrise Ceramics. And my whole saying with everything in life and ceramics is getting the most out of every day from sunrise to sunset. So Sunrise Ceramics was born, and I've been using that name ever since. And that is all the questions I'll be doing. Thank you so much, and I'm sorry this video took so long for me to edit and get out, but I hope you guys like it, and hit me with some more questions, and maybe I'll do another one sometime. Thanks so much for all your support. It really is crazy. I'm blown away every day. So thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next one.